Wednesday, December 28th. Good evening.
Ah, Jill. I'm out to get firecrackers.
Firecrackers?
It's New Year's, right? We need some.
Wouldn't firecrackers scare off the dog? Yeah, good idea. Go ahead.
I'll be back in a bit.
Even for a cat lover, you sure get excited about firecrackers a whole lot more when dogs are involved. I know how hypocritical it sounds, and I don't care. Ah, Jamie's here. Greetings. Anyway, let's start. Time to mix drinks and change lives. Ah, the guy that wouldn't come back twice. Yeah, shut up. By any chance did something fly over here 2 weeks ago? On Friday? Yes. There were lots of weird explosion noises throughout the night. But as far as I understand, those were made by a flying drone or something like that. So it flew by here. I take it you know what made the noise? Let's just keep it at whatever drone story you heard. Right. The noise got annoying after a while, I must say. Though it remained in the vicinity. I don't know what counts as in the vicinity, but yeah. Distant explosions all night. Interesting. I didn't get far away. Huh. Now, give me a Mars Blast. Mars Blast for the guy that wouldn't come back. Twice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Splendid. Here you go. Well, you didn't mess up. Sorry, if I may interject. You looking for a fight? Most certainly not. Assume internet problems got sorted? Yes. Sort of. I mean, I'm still having the issue with, like, occasionally dropping or having my connection get wibbly wobbly. But the issue where it was just completely out for the whole day, yeah, that has been resolved. You really think you'd stand a chance? You're like half his size. I can fight dirty. He kills people for a living. I can fight dirty. Jill, please, you make me sound like a savage. It would be like me saying that you get people drunk for a living. It's not wrong, but there are better ways of saying stuff like that. You're right. Sorry. And like I said, I'm not looking for a fight. I just noticed you seem to like strong drinks. What about it? Well, to be honest, it's a rare sight in this bar. I'd even come to believe I'm the only one here who enjoys them, aside from the owner. May I suggest you try a suplex next time? Might be to your liking. Okay, let's try this suplex thing. Right. Let's give Ingram a suplex. Wow, that sounded weird. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Nope. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Double it up. On the rocks and mixed. I bet speedruns of this game are wild. Mostly because this is the extent of the gameplay, and I imagine people have, like, just memorized the recipes. Here. Good stuff. Like a less burning but punchier pile driver. Say, your face looks somehow familiar, mister. Call me Jamie. And you are? I'm Ingram. Anyway, I think I saw your face somewhere. Maybe when I needed to look for a specific file. Did you perhaps go through a nanomachine expunge? At that point, it's just playing a known seed of Osu. Fair. I did it, actually. Figured as much. Only a handful of people do that. And almost all of them are people with nanomachine rejection that feel oddly suicidal. So, why go through the whole thing? Rejection? Need to hide something? The second one. It's easier to remain undetected when they have no means to track you or your activity. I see.
How does the expunge work?
You lie in a pressure chamber and they give you a special IV solution. It causes nanomachine rejection while giving you the antibodies needed to prevent them from getting back in. For 5 hours, you're trapped in bed while a horrible pressure builds up in your body. The nanomachines are forced out. They're like little needles all over your body. You feel them in your eyes, in your gums, in your toes, everywhere. And after all that, they need to implant you with a mechanism that constantly releases the same antibodies.
Ouch.
What are you having, Jamie?
Yeah, it seems like that would not be comfortable.
This is a gut punch. Yeah, should have figured. Hey, give me one of those.
Sure. Let's give him a gut punch. Again, that didn't sound right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1. So much Karmatrine. Aged, mixed. Here.
Yeah, I love these. It's different from yours, though.
I had a couple of extras in his, actually.
Where's the antibody unit they stuck you with, Jamie? Inside, like all other maintenance systems. It can be troublesome at times, but the perks of not having nanomachines in the body outweigh the cons. And the rest of the enhancements? Were you reconstructed or have you been adding them over time? Over time, either by getting a much-needed enhancement or through fixing injuries. I see. Well, it was a pleasure, Jamie, but I gotta leave. Nice meeting you, Ingram.
Please come again.
Don't count on it.
You've said that twice.
Shut up. Seemed like a nice guy.
Right. I won't call him a bastard, but he's not the nicest in the bunch.
Maybe you caught him on a bad day.
I think you're just that good at bringing out the nicer side of people. Oddly enough. That guy tires the hell out of me.
Someone's in a good mood.
Give me a bad touch, will you? That way you'll be in a good mood too.
A bad touch for Alma.
It's the name of the cocktail, okay? On the rocks and mixed. Oh, I should have doubled it. Here. Jill, you have such a petty sense of humor. Guilty as charged. So, what put you in a good mood? Oh yeah, that. Today, my sister was supposed to be in court for all the custody proceedings. Is my volume up higher than usual? It is. I was like, this music sounds way louder than it usually is. My volume was like twice as loud. Of course, not only does she show up later than her husband, and drunk at that, but also dressed... God damn it, Alma. Like she got fucked in the back of a parking lot. And to top it off, she forgot to even bring her kids. Luckily, my parents brought them to court. The judge assigned the kids to my parents for the time being. So she really messed it up, huh? Like, came back to the house and Diana started throwing a temper tantrum. She said it was lucky her husband didn't get the kids because the angst would make her jump onto the highway. So Eva comes and says, then make sure it kills you because we aren't dealing with you as a cripple. Yikes! Jesus fucking Christ! Ugh, Alma, that's dark. Ugh. I don't know, maybe it was the timing, but I've been laughing for an hour now. You hold quite the animosity for Diana, don't you? She and I used to be the closest friends when I was 7 or 8. We played all the time, we even slept on the same bed for a while. And she turned into a teen. We stopped playing, she had other things she wanted to do. I could forgive all of that. I mean, the age difference and all. But there's something in particular I still can't forgive. The day she invited her friends to the house, and I went to ask her something. As I was leaving, one of our friends asked if I was her sister, and she said she had no little sisters. Ouch. I think that was the moment that finally broke the pedestal I held her on. I admired her as much as a kid could admire someone, you know? Little by little, that admiration wore off until we finally reached that breaking point. Felt betrayed. And you haven't been able to forgive her after 40 years? Hey. Not that I still hold a grudge against her, but rather... Diana who said all those things so many years ago is the same Diana that I know today. So. She hasn't matured one bit. Doesn't sound like you've matured a whole lot either. She's still as selfish, childish, and immature as she was back then. When you see her, you don't see an adult, you see an overgrown, horny teen. So, aside from destroying any admiration I held for her, she's made sure not to fix that impression. Huh. But enough about me. How are you? Yeah, please, enough about you. Jesus. I mean, so I've already had the big talk about how Alma and her family's reactions to her sister Diana are fucked up. I already did that. I'm not rehashing it again. But I will say the added ableism there with the we're not going to take care of you if you're crippled is pretty fucked up. That's... Oof. Yikes. Everything's fine. Aside from this note. Almost a real piece of work. Yeah. Yeah. A note? Remember how I told you I lashed out at my dead ex's sister? Yeah? I got this note from her. Let's see. Wow, she must really feel bad about the whole thing. As do I. So, what's the problem then? Same fear that drove me away from her in the first place. Right. Give a Brantini, will you? There's a little story I want to tell you. Right. Brantini. Alright. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, aged. Mixed. Here. This is the thing. Let's start. Boo. Oh, hell no. This is the story of a girl who grew disillusioned with one of her sisters. Soon, it became animosity, and not long after that, she distanced herself completely from said sister. With time, the girl would become attached to her eldest sister, looking up to her achievements. All I can look at right now are those boobs. Not now. That sister would even marry the girl's best friend not soon after. And after the girl went into college, said sister would quit her job. The sister was worried sick about leaving her baby kid alone, prompting her to quit her high-ranking job. What if I hire your high-ranking lips? Shut up. The girl, even as an adult, felt betrayed. Her role model sister went against everything she held her in high esteem for. She was no longer a child, and yet she felt like a part of her had crumbled. Hey Joe, I can lift her sweater. Do you want to see? I bet you want to see. Alright, enough. Enough? Shit. Peace out. I mean... I know the girl is you and the sister is your eldest sister. Please get to the point. Right. The point is, if you don't face her, she will be heavily disappointed. She's trying to make amends with you. That must take courage. Lots of it. Yeah, you're right. My mouth's dry. Can I get a beer? Right. A beer. Man, I am going crazy, aren't I? 1, 2. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. That's 4. Here. Thanks. So tell me, did you and this Gabby girl get along? Oh yeah. I never had brothers and sisters, but once Lenore introduced me to her as her sister-in-law, I got so excited about having a new sister that she clung to me a lot. I helped her in her studies, read books with her, played with her a lot. She was pretty much my sister too. I have to leave, but I'll tell you this. As both a big and a little sister, if you don't grant that girl the chance of talking to you, I'll never forgive you. Yeah. Oh, there's a small New Year's party this Saturday if you're interested. Oh, sure, I'll be there. Remember, I won't forgive you. Yeah. I'll go take my break. All right. Wow, you were here? You were quite absorbed in the conversation just now. Jamie even said goodbye to you. Didn't you hear? Anyways, call me if anything comes up. I will say, the thing with Alma as a character in this game is that she also is right sometimes. Oh, god dang it, shush. She also is right sometimes, like she's not just an asshole. There are several characters in this game that are just an asshole, like Donovan D. Dawson is just an asshole. Which does two things. One, it makes the shitty parts of her as a character worse, because they're given context by her. A stop clock is right 2 times a day. Yeah, I mean, again, before this week, Alma was just like purely fine as a character, until we got into this stuff with Diana in the like last few play sessions of this game. It was great, which sets the tone for what we're supposed to think about her as a character, which is part of what made me so surprised and makes my reactions to her more problematic elements so visceral. But the one little bit of silver lining that I will point out here is that it makes her part of a thing that a lot of this game is doing, in that it makes her unintentionally or otherwise it makes her a more complex character. And I think part of the thesis of this game, or at least what I'm getting from how a lot of these characters are presented, is that people are complicated, and seemingly really good people can have really terrible beliefs and be a part of really terrible paradigms, and vice versa, right? Like, really awful, hurtful people can also be nice and friendly and have good advice sometimes. And that's like uncomfortable to think about, I think. Or at least I find it a little uncomfortable, because the instinct, right, is to be like, either you're a good person or you're a terrible person, not, you know, sometimes you're one or the other. Which is not in any way intended to excuse her behavior, the things that she said. Those were incredibly fucked up. And the same is true of the other characters who have had some pretty fucked up things to say. I just think it's interesting because games rarely give that sort of nuance to their characters, in a way that to me feels authentic. I don't know that Alma specifically feels super authentic, but I think the game has done a good job overall of presenting characters in that way, where they will either espouse concepts that are harmful or bigoted, and then come around with some not redeeming factor, but some positive factor
or we'll have characters that are generally sympathetic, but have major flaws that come through. I feel like a lot of games sort of lean into the idea that characters are going to be one or the other. So I think I would still rather that content not be in the game, and or at least I would much rather Alma's outbursts about Diana be tempered by some kind of pushback from the other characters. I would very much rather that. However, I think it's worth pointing out that the game is doing that. It's less chilly today. Jill, kids looking for you? Oh, shit. Hey. Ah, Norma. I don't remember what voice I did for her. Whew. I should just stop saying that I don't remember the voice I did for a character, because that's true of pretty much every character. Oh, fuck. You're back. Oh, fuck you. You do know I'm not giving you any drinks, right? Crap, I said it out loud. Yeah, actually, I wanted to thank you. Ooh, she thought it was for her. Thank me? Well, for starters, by not complying and giving me alcohol. Everything else would have fallen apart if I had some. Aw, so responsible, Joe. I kind of faced my mom and told her all about the pressure she was putting on me. And said I wanted to figure out what I wanted to do. And? Well, she didn't speak to me for 2 days. Ooh, yikes. After that, she told me that it'd just be a waste to spend money in a university just for me to not give it my all. So she told me to still go to the college course, but that I was free to explore. Glad to hear that. And, well, I wanted to thank you for that. Me? If I just rushed headfirst into my original plan, things would have gotten ugly. And you were right, I would be hurting her for the sake of hurting. So, thank you. Don't worry about it. I'll leave before it's too late outside. Be careful. Aw, so sweet. Shut up. Hey Jill, mind helping me here? Sure. Make a Bleeding Jane, please. On it. A Bleeding Jane for Jill. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We'll double it. We are the bartender that likes to get people drunk. Blended. What did I get wrong? Outer Delta, Flanergide, Mountain Extract. Did I age it? I did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 1, 3, 6. Blended. There we go. Thanks. Hey, Joe. Do you hate me? Hate is a harsh word. Not against you directly, but rather the fact that only I can see you. Like I told you, if they wanted, they could see me. And why can't I? You're the main character. No. What are you? A cute girl. Right. You okay, Jill? Making a lot of faces there. Yeah, just remembering stuff. Could you give me a hand here and serve a beer, please? Sure. A beer for Jill now. 1, 1, 2. 1, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, whoops. Sorry for bumping the mic. 1, 2. 1, 1, 2. 1. Thanks.
Would you lighten up if I showed you that I can interact with the environment?
Maybe it'll spook me, but let's try.
There.
Can't see anything.
You sure?
Yep. I'm concerned.
Weird. Nobody expects the Dorothy Inquisition! Dorothy Inquisition. Dorothy Inquisition. Dorothy Inquit. Ouch. I bit my tongue. Can't believe I'm using the spare tongue so early in the night.
Oh my god, Dorothy!
Ahem. Honey.
Ah, hey Dorothy.
I'm making a quick stop for a drink. Can I get a fluffy dream?
Sure. I'm suspicious. I'm so sus. Because I actually don't remember hitting the age button, and I'm a little worried that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, that Anna's just fucking with our station. Lots of karma training. Aged. Mixed.
Thanks.
Oh yeah, before you leave.
What? Are you guys throwing a New Year's party too?
Yep.
Sure, I'll be here then. Well, I've got things to do, so.
You do? Who does what? Sorry, I sneezed. Weird sneezes.
Anyway, I'm out for now. Oh yeah, Joe? Take care of Becky, please.
Man, she was in a rush.
Okay, fuck that noise. Fireworks are sold out everywhere. I'll need to get them through more shady means.
She's gonna buy them from the internet. She'll find them and put us all at risk of burning. I'll make sure there's an extra extinguisher on hand. Please. Well, I guess that's it for today. Wow, that was a really fast day. That was only 30 minutes. You sure you're fine? I am. Don't worry. Hey Jill, mind if I ask a silly question? You've seen my clients, you can assume I don't mind silly questions. Silly answers can get on my nerves though. Sorry, what did you want to ask? Do you know why they call them cat boomers? Hey, finally! I mean, I guess their second set of ears look like a cat's, but the word boomers seems so out of place. Not so much when you consider it's not them, but their parents who were called such. Oh? Let's go a bit back first. You do know why cat boomers look like that, right? Because they went through some anti-nanomachine rejection treatment while they were still a fetus, right? Called the Yamazaki Romanova treatment. Or was it the Romanenko Yamada treatment? Let's call it the catification procedure. It was not only the first successful genetic treatment on a fetus, but also the first way to fight nanomachine rejection. Moreover, that research had a bit of a rocky story. Funding got cut in the middle of it, at a critical point that could make or break the whole thing. Not to mention Zaibatsu Corp's record of not addressing nanomachine rejection at all. The rest of the research was funded by Maki Stengovich. Was it Stengovich? Let's call him Stengovich for now. He's a businessman whose unborn daughter got undiagnosed with early nanomachine rejection. Stengovich funded the research, and in a desperate move, his wife offered herself and her daughter as test subjects. Of course, the experiment was a success. The girl, Sylvia Stengovich, didn't die. She became the living testament of a scientific breakthrough. Then, the story of how things played out for Sylvia got sensationalized in the media and created a weird fad. Parents made their unborn children go through the catification procedure, even if they had no ailments at all. All because one particular girl whose life got saved through the treatment became a media darling for a bit. A whole generation of kids with those cat-like protrusions got born. Sounds awesome! And their parents got called cat boomers? A generation of parents assumed with those cat-like features. The fad quickly passed, but the term remained in use. Eventually, cat boomer just started being used for people with the protrusions instead of their parents. You keep calling them protrusions, why is that?
Because that's what they are. Eh? You didn't think those things on their heads were ears, right? Sure, they can be moved because they're somehow connected to the facial and ear muscles. Thus, they can move like a cat's and react to their mood. But in the end, they're just appendages with no real function. Huh. Still surprises me a bit, though, that the biggest mutation they got after the treatment is just that. Those ears are a small miracle on their own. People have been born with no eyes for less intrusive procedures. You really thought they were functional ears, huh? Let's say I learned quite a bit today. Thank you. Don't worry, I feel like I should apologize for talking so much instead. And keep in mind, I'm fucking up the terms. I don't want you saying someone got protrusions because of a catification procedure. I'll keep it in mind. Wait! What? Yeah, the guy's name was Stenkovich. Eh? I just remembered, Sylvia Stenkovich was around my age, and when I was a teen, there were some TV specials featuring her, and I just remembered that I had the biggest crush on her. Now that I think about it, that crush had me very confused back then. And did you need to shout just now? Sorry. In any case, I'm out for the day. Alright, careful out there. All booze and no firecracker makes Dana a dull girl. Oh. God. I just want Jill and Dana to get married and live happily ever after. That's all I want. Jill bought what she wanted and she's pleased with herself. She will surely focus at work. I don't know what she wanted. Jess, hello, welcome. You've been talking a lot with that Alma girl. Jealous? No. Afeared for you is what I feel. Surviving in Glitch City. Any tips for a new friend in this wonderful land? Oh boy. Self-deprecating thread? Don't trust in white nights and don't go out after 5 p.m. unless you want to get mugged or murdered. Bring a portable chair everywhere. You'll have to line up for flour, lol. Get used to eat what you find. Shortages are getting out of hand. I've been eating rice with butter for months now, but I guess it could be worse. Oh man, rice with butter, hell yeah. Don't jinx it, please. I have enough as it is. So coming here was a mistake. Why would you come here anyway? Visiting family, but now I want to take them out. Do it while you can. Yeah, airlines are leaving the city, lol. Soon we won't even be able to escape. Ooh. Can I even get some weed in this crap hole somewhere? Yeah, I just PM'd you a good dealer, winky face. Unless I'm mistaken, my grandpa lived here before they turned it into Glitch City. BTC closing 40% of its bars in Glitch City. The British Trademark Council is facing some economic troubles in Glitch City, and it looks like they're on their way out. Blaming rising inflation rates and a weak currency, the BTC has given the order to disband almost half of its recreational businesses in the city. We can't keep doing business like this. Glitch City has a negative impact in our earnings, and we can't continue in the red, a PR representative told the Augmented Eye. Prime Minister Quincy, on the other hand, thinks the BTC is just too greedy. They make a lot of money already, and now they're crying because they can't have more? Give me a break. Oh yeah, this. Late to the party, Augmented Eye. Wearing socks with sandals in public is now a crime. I like to say we have the freedom to wear whatever we like in the streets of Glitch City, so long as we adhere to decency rules. However, that's about to change. Glitch City's Department of Public Decency has declared that wearing socks and sandals together is a punishable crime. If convicted, the guilty face 3 days in jail as punishment for using that abominable combo. But what do you think? Should we wear whatever we want, or should the fashion police of high society decide for you? Whatever the case, I think I'll simply stick to the right side of the battle. Goodbye, socks and sandals. Gods be praised. First silly lie I'm all in for. Birth rates decrease as the youth prefers Lilum company. At the beginning of the century, the idea that people would rather be with robots instead of other humans was treated as a joke. Is it? Is that a joke? Does anybody actually think that's a joke? Like, I mean, humans are great. Don't get me wrong. But if robots were to exist that were like fully sentient and like fully intelligent, just entirely a person, what would make you think that people wouldn't end up having feelings for robot people? Like, they're just people. I mean, they're also robots, but naturally some people are gonna be like, have I done papers on this? Yes. Oh my god, Kiana. Fully sentient, fully bonable Levi. Like, I would even argue that bonable isn't a requirement. Like, just if people, hold on, let me walk through the chain of logic here. If people fall for other people for a wide range of reasons, and robots become people, then some people will have feelings for robots. We pack bond with Roombas. Yeah, like we personify and have like emotional connections to inanimate or non-human things all the time. I don't think it's ridiculous at all to think that humans would over time, like some people would be like, oh hell yeah, my robot pal, we're in love, it's awesome. I don't know. Just my weird ass take on this. But the reality is that the convenience of these kinds of relationships have become immensely popular among Glitch City's youth, to the point where birth rates are beginning to decrease at an alarming rate. It would appear that you joined at an interesting point in the conversation. Yeah, Ethan. If they look human, there's a whole uncanny valley thing to take into consideration. I don't know if that's even true for real life, though. I mean, people look a lot of different ways, and that's not a problem. So, I mean, current robots are creepy. Current robots are creepy because they lack articulation. But I don't know. The robots that I have seen so far in this game seem lifelike enough to me. Annie Mae, a 17-year-old student, agrees with the general sentiment. It's just so much better than dealing with other people, you know? You can just make your own perfect partner. Oh, that's fucked up. Then we get into an ethics issue. Like, if you're making someone, if you're making a living being, a sentient being, shall we say. If you're making a sentient being to have a relationship with them, that, I think, treads into weird, difficult ethics areas. Oh god, that's a really good question. Because, like, if they're a fully fledged person, but they happen to be a fully fledged person that, you know, the combination of attributes that make them up incline them toward you, and you made them that way, is that a problem? If they're compulsed to like you, I think that's a problem. But if you just engineer a person that, like, is a good fit for you and that you're a good fit for, is that a problem? Because they still have free will. Oh. Depends on where we draw the rights in terms of sentience, sapience, and will. Yeah, but, like, the thing is, for me, the thing is, for me, if you program to like you, what I'm saying is there's a difference between programming someone to like you and programming someone who is going to like you. Do you get what I mean? Like, there are people on the planet that are going to like me, and let's be so bold as to say there are people on the planet who are going to like me in a romantic sense. Those people are, in my view, a collection of attributes and predilections and inclinations that add up to, being interested in a person roughly me-shaped and with attributes that I have. If you, programming them with traits that will hit it off with you. Yeah, like, if you have a bit of code that says, like, you gotta love this one person, that I think is fucked up. Or if not fucked up, like unethical. There's an ethics issue there. But if you create a person who is what I just described, right? Who just is a person that would like you. Like, if they spontaneously came into existence without your influence and they would like you, is that unethical? The thing with building AI is that you're usually building that memory of attributes at the get-go, while a human is able to build that on their own from their choices plus environment plus some minor biological adjustments over many years of experience. Yeah, but like, how much influence do we actually have over that? I was built by a long process by like a 26-year process of experiences and influence from other people, but like, I didn't choose to be the person that I am today. I did not choose to like the things that I like. I like them. So, do I have any more choice in that matter? I would argue no. Is it more or less real just because it came about by happenstance as opposed to intent? Yeah, that's my thought. Like, if the process of, this 26-year process of me getting to where I am now involved someone literally, like, I don't know, casting a spell on me that made it impossible for me to be, or made it compulsory for me to like them or to be a certain way, that would maybe be weird because I was in a process that was happening, and that process got altered. But a thing that we get to when we talk about it's more than a single person creating those constraints rather than a complex system of circumstances. But like, personally, regarding myself, okay, so taking this away from, there's a weird power dynamic with this, absolutely. Taking this away from AI for a second, and I love that this is all going to be on YouTube. That's why I'm trying to like read things out from chat. Putting this in the context of just myself, I don't care if one person created the constraints that turned me into who I am, versus a complex series of circumstances that created who I am now. That functionally makes no difference. What matters to me is my agency moving forward from the point of creation. You know what I mean? You're right to point out the power dynamic, though. I think that can only work, again, if you make a person, and this isn't even like making a person, this is like mail ordering a person, which is a little strange, but like, how different is mail ordering an AI from like signing up for a dating site? Anyway, in this case, if the Lilim is still capable of judgment and making their own decisions, if they happen to be a collection of attributes, that fits with you and that you fit with, I don't think there's an ethics problem there. I think the way that this particular person, Anime, is putting it is a little more than a little objectifying. It's less this Lilim is a person and more this is an object that I ordered. But I see some contention in my dating site comparison. Let me explain. Dating services, to my knowledge, having never used one, so disclaimer there. Dating services are largely a process of codifying and converting into data certain attributes about people and then matching them up, and then letting people make decisions from there. What I'm saying is, if this process acts similar to that, where a person is generated with a collection of attributes that is matched up to yours, and then things are left to run their course from there, I don't see an issue. But that one didn't work. Let's try for version 8. Yes, but they can't, like, you can't kill a Lilim, right? How different is that from this relationship didn't work out? I'm gonna go date someone similar. We're not talking about recycling robots, because Lilim are fully fledged people with rights, and as has been established, they're immortal. So. That was kind of an uncomfortable point where it also requires a distillation of attributes into discrete categories to develop someone who could be compatible. Yeah, but again, I feel like that's the same thing that we do when we try to make dating apps. Also, then the interesting point of if this person was made for X person, then what does that mean in terms of purpose when it doesn't work out? Yeah, I mean, I will say, I think just being an artificial intelligence brings with it its own, like, just enormous host of existential issues. Like, money was exchanged to make a person. Yeah, but I think the important point there is money was exchanged to make a person, not have it work out. I like someone who's independent. No, why is this independent person rejecting me? Yeah. I mean, that scenario is entirely hypothetical, right? Like, we can't necessarily, we can speak to, or I feel comfortable speaking to the ethics of the situation and the ways such a situation could be engineered to be ethical. I don't know that I'm comfortable conjecturing about how people would react to or use such a system. Personally, I don't think I have the background for that. I see a lot of ways this can be manipulated too. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's clearly sticky ground, but artificial intelligence as, like, recognizing artificial intelligence as people is sticky territory regardless. And I mean, we saw some of that with we saw some of Dorothy having issues with existentialism in the last play session. There are too many ways bad actors can misuse it when compared to the potentially good, benevolent intent behind it. I suppose. I think my sticking point here is if you create a fully sentient and if you create a fully sentient person with free will, right? You don't put any code in there that says, like, you must feel this way or you must do this. I personally don't see a problem with it, because you're making a person, like, your reasons for making a person may be weird and questionable, but that's literally true of the world right now. Like, the people's reasons for having kids are often weird and questionable. Like, that's not new. But I think for me the sticking point is not why are you doing this, but what are you doing? Generally not a fan of building human-like AI as in they have sapience for human purposes like dating or childcare, etc. Yeah, I would largely agree with you in the same sense that I largely agree with the idea that having kids for reasons like I want to have someone to take care of me when I'm old and I retire, or you know, I want to pass on my legacy. Like having kids for reasons other than I want to create a life and put it out into the world. I have similar feelings there, but I recognize on the flip side that much of the world doesn't agree with me on that. Don't create a person for self-centered reasons, basically. Yeah, I agree, Jess. Someone has to get the beer from the fridge when I'm watching my stories. No. But yeah. I think there's similar ethical quandaries to the question of having kids, but still different. AI is complicated, y'all. As soon as they have sapience, they are essentially a person in terms of rights. Yeah, absolutely. We're also talking about like a highly capitalist society where like everybody has a purpose, right? Everyone's supposed to have a job in this cyberpunk dystopia. Personally, I disagree with that idea. I don't think that anything with a life should exist just to have a job, or even primarily to have a job. One of my main complaints with capitalism, although I have many. But I think there's a difference between a person existing, or I guess there's not much difference for me between a person existing and a person being created for a reason. Like, intent matters, but I don't think intent matters as much as effect. You know, if I say something and I hurt someone, the primary concern for me is that I hurt someone, even if I meant well. But the same is impact over intent. Yeah. Which is not to say intent doesn't matter, but that impact to me is like far outweighs intent. And that's the case for me here, where intent can be weird, but like so much of what I consider weird is societally based and socially based, and a lot of it is unfair and prejudiced, that I have a really hard time trying to make judgment calls based on intent. I feel a lot more comfortable making judgment calls based on impact. So however, if you make a robot, right, if you make a Lilim to be your date and then it doesn't work out and then they spiral off into some horrible despair and like end up in an alley somewhere miserable, then obviously your impact is not positive. That's not a net positive. So I guess that's a thing to consider. All right, okay, that's enough. That's enough of this rabbit hole. Okay. You can make your own perfect partner. Oh, and the sex is amazing. Don't even get me started. It's expected that new regulations will soon be announced to address this situation. Yeah, I think primarily what I think would be best, personally, on a light skim of this is making people to date them. As much as the ethics might be like sticky but not horrible, I think in general just not great. I think dating robots though is fine. Go ahead and date your robots. Just maybe don't make them specifically so that you can date them. All right. Let's go to work. Oh, I didn't read what she said. Evening. Hey.
Okay, so we've got almost everything, but we're still missing a couple of things for Saturday.
Dating robots that exist for their own sake is A-okay. Yeah, I will say though, the likelihood of robots ever existing just for their own sake is pretty slim, because robots need to be created
We're going to create robots for reasons. And it's not just going to be just cuz. Like, I guess if we reach a point where we can make fully sentient and sapient humanoid robots, someone's going to make robots just because they're going to be like, fuck yeah, I'm God. Let's do it. Let's make life. But, like, robots don't just spontaneously generate in the same way that life did. Hopefully not for dating reasons. Yeah, maybe, I guess. Is it... Oh god, I'm falling down the rabbit hole again. My question is, like, is it more or less ethical to create a life for the point of exploiting it romantically than it is to create a life for the point of exploiting its labor? Like, if you create life for the sake of, but dating a humanish warehouse bot, for example, is it acceptable to exploit a robot for labor if that robot was made for dating? Because it's reasonable and ethical to exploit a robot made for labor by using it romantically. Like, yeah, ultimately a robot's gonna be made for a reason, and that reason is going to be because it provides value to humans in some way or another. And if that is unethical, then I think the ultimate result is that we shouldn't be making sapient robots. But if we can get past that hurdle and we say, fine, it's okay to make robots for a reason, I think the area of ethics that we need to look at is how robots are treated after they're created and what freedoms they're given in that space.